The color and brightness of user LEDs on the JackBord BASIC can be controlled more accurately using RGB values on the command line. So in this video, we're going to use RGB values to set the color and brightness of the user LEDs. This is video number 8 of 10 in the series for people beginning their journey with the JackBord BASIC. For a full list of videos in this series, search the TMT code shown in the middle of the screen at jb.works. For this video, you're going to need the JackBord BASIC, a USB-C cable, a PC or a Chromebook, and either the Google Chrome web browser or the Microsoft Edge web browser. So the first thing we'll do is we'll start looking at how RGB colors actually work. So just about any color can be created by combining various amounts of only 3 colors, namely red, green, and blue. And we've got an example in the center of the screen here. So we've got a red circle, a green circle, and a blue circle. So if we combine red and green, we get yellow. And if we combine green and blue, we get cyan. And finally, if we combine blue and red, we get magenta. Now, if we combine all 3 of the colors, so all 3 of R, red, green, and blue, we end up with white. And that's basically how all modern day torches work. They all have LEDs inside, and each LED has a red, green, and a blue LED inside it. Now here we can see on the left, this is one of the RGB user LEDs on the JackBord BASIC. And basically what we're saying is that each individual RGB LED, which is this one here, actually contains 3 individual LEDs. You have a little red one, a little green one, and a little blue one. And so what these pictures on the right show is how the LED looks when it's only showing red, so you can see the red LED is on. And when it's showing green, only the green LED is on. And finally, when it's showing blue, only the blue LED is on. So basically, this one red, green, and blue RGB LED contains 3 individual LEDs. And finally, to get white, you can see that they're all on. So you've got the red one, the blue one, and the green one. It doesn't look white here because we're looking at it too close, but when you look at it from far away, it looks white. So basically, a red, green, blue, or RGB LED actually contains 3 different LEDs, a red one, a green one, and a blue one. And by combining the amounts of light that each color contributes, you end up with an overall color, which is seen as an average by the human eye. So far, to control the user LEDs on the JackBord BASIC, we've used basically the LN space S, where L is the port L, and so L1 space 1 turns user LED number 1 on. L4 space 1 turns user LED 4 on. So essentially the only state we've had is on or off and on, which basically means no light or white light. But we can also control the color of the JackBord BASIC's user LEDs by replacing the state value with actually 3 values, a red, green, and a blue value. So basically R is the amount of red, and the values go from 0 to 255. And I won't get into technical details, but basically this is just because the value is 8 bits, so it gives you an allowed value of 0 to 255. So 0 is the LED, or in this case the red LED, completely turned off, and 255 is the red LED at its maximum brightness. So some examples here, these are all setting user LED number 4. So this will give red because we've got the red LED turned on full and green and blue turned off. This one's going to give green because red is off and blue is off and green is the only one on. And finally, this one is going to give blue because both red and green are turned off. Now we're back on the command line on the dashboard, and I've got the JackBord BASIC on the right hand side there. So first of all, we'll control L4 or user LED number 4, and we'll make it red by setting the red LED to 255 and the green and blue to 0. And so the LED goes red. Now if I want to make it green, I set red to 0 and then make green 255 and set blue to 0. And you can see that it's gone green. And finally, if you want to make it blue, you set red and green to 0 and then set 255 for blue. And so you can see the LED has gone blue. So far, we've only done one individual color. So I've got this currently set so that it's showing blue. So why not I add green? And it kind of goes a bit of a cyany color. And now I'm going to set the red one to the full value. And notice that it's gone pure white. So you can see right there the fact that the action of the individual LEDs inside the RGB LED causes the overall effect for it to be white. So far we've only used the RGB values to control the color of the LED. We can also use them to control the brightness, and you do that by using a value of red, green or blue that is less than 255. So for example, L4255 gives a bright red, L4155 gives a slightly dimmer red, and then L4 using only 55 gives a very low red. So by changing the value of each color, you can actually control the level of the color, how bright it is. So we're back on the command line. So if we try that first command, so we're just going to go L4255 for full red and then 0 for green and blue. And sure enough, we get full brightness. So now if I make it 155, watch the red LED. See, it gets dimmer. Then if I make it just 55, it gets dimmer still. So the color is still the same, it's just the brightness has changed. And then if I finally make it 0, it will go off altogether. So what you can do is start experimenting with making different colors and different color combinations and see what you can come up with. So we've learned that RGB LEDs actually contain 3 individual red, green and blue LEDs. And we can create colors by mixing the relative amounts of each of these red, green and blue values. And you can also control the brightness of the user LEDs by using values for each color less than 255. And here in the diagram you can see what the LED looks like with each individual color turned on, and then finally on the far right you can see what it should look like when it's white. But of course we're so close it looks like 3 individual colors because you can see the individual colors. In the next video we're going to explore the JackBord BASIC's built-in light sensor that lets you measure the ambient light level in lux. To get straight to that video, visit jb.works and search the TMT code shown on the screen. For more information, visit jb.works.